okay. Are we rolling on? What? Are we? You're learning. Oh, it's adorable. Camera dude, we good? Great. Love that. Thumbs up. You know, everybody says that babies are like drunk people. I don't think that's true. I'm drunk by most 8 p.m.s. My parents have never made a Facebook post like, oh, look at our little man. He can't make eye contact because the room's still spinning. Babies are nothing like drunk people. People don't spend an hour with a baby and then text their friend like, yo, I think this baby's racist. Hi, I'm Elliot Morgan, and this is The Study, the show where we explore opposing views no matter how opposy they are. I'm hungover. Pretty bummed one. Apparently this meetup of anti-feminist and pro-legal rape men, Return of Kings, canceled their 8 p.m. meetup for today. The pro-rape men said they wouldn't feel safe. Now there is an obvious irony here, and it's difficult to write original jokes about obvious irony. Sure, I could go through the work and hope one works and gently submit a humorous comment, or I could force one. Try to make a joke that somehow metaphorically parallels the story, but I'm afraid to do that, so I won't. Hey, here's an example of a story that actually gets more interesting as it goes along, in case any writers of Orange is the New Black are watching. An Australian woman showed up at her own funeral after she'd been presumably murdered by hitmen hired by her husband, and she waited outside of the funeral home for him, then got out of her car, and her husband put his hands on his head and said, "Is it my eyes? Is it a ghost?" Apparently the woman was kidnapped and the hitmen took mercy on her, and she used the help of embassies, the police, and her pastor to surprise her husband at her own funeral with police. He was sentenced to 9 years. An Italian actor died from being hanged on stage, but sure, Leo deserves an Oscar for eating bison liver. A new study says that women are more sensitive to annoying behavior, which finally explains why most have clicked out of this video already. Last year, Americans spent more money on marijuana than they did Cheetos or Doritos. It's like I always say, when I'm high, I'm a Frito guy. They can't all be winners. Scientists are researching what causes resting bitch face, collectively saying, cancer? Sure, yeah, we'll get to it. A man was arrested after he assaulted a police officer. Now, guys, I'm going to be perfectly frank with you. If there's one thing I don't make jokes about on this show, it's people who assault police officers. So I'm not making any jokes here. The man's name was Bezo Doodoo Zoppity Bop Bop Bop, and Bezo Doodoo Zoppity Bop 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 was tearing down flyers when a police officer tried to stop him. But Bezo Doodoo Zoppity Bop 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 ran, and then Bezo Doodoo Zoppity Bop 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 bit the police officer's ring finger while the two were wrestling on the ground, presumably because that's just how Bezo Doodoo Zoppity Bop 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 rolls. That brings us to today's contractual obligation, where I'm forced to talk about a semi-serious topic, but I don't like serious topics, so I've decided to throw up a slideshow of Legend of Zelda enemies. The internet is a beautiful place, said a guy who's trying desperately to establish a premise he doesn't necessarily agree with. Take, for example, Twitter or YouTube. Right now, as young people populate the internet in a way that makes the web more of an extension of themselves than an outside place or a thing, the sudden surge in supporters of Bernie Sanders. The collective groupthink gets together and says, yeah, Doc Brown it is, and they make him into something cooler than he is. Here's the thing. He's probably just a guy. I think it's important in the election, whether you agree with a particular candidate or not, to remember that they're just people. Bernie probably isn't actually that cool. Still, the way the internet treats him is uncanny. It's nauseating. Guys, listen to me. Move the slideshow out. Bernie could trademark the word react and people would be like, that's progress. Bring the slideshow back in. How about we don't put all our cool eggs in any basket that could run the free world, and we make sure we're supporting people because of their stances, not because of grandiose ideologies or the underdog mentality. Otherwise, we turn our candidates into mascots to be either adored or hated. That's all. Also, I love non sequiturs and I miss playing Zelda. All right, that's it. This has been The Study. I'm Elliot Morgan. Thank you for watching. Oh, the first joke was a parallel metaphor. You know what I mean? Hey, in the comments, what would you do if you found out that somebody had hired somebody to murder you? Like, what would you even, because this woman she played her cards right. Like, this should be a manual for when somebody inevitably arranges for my death. Thank you. Newsflash, Trump has the nom. Start building your bomb shelters, bitches.
What's the worst thing about breaking up with a Japanese girl? You have to drop the bomb twice before she gets the message.